So every year on the 7th of June, um, the World Food Safety Day reminds us of the critical need for safe food for all, right? Um, right now, unsafe food is becoming a very serious problem. It's a becoming very serious, real public health challenge. And as you know, unsafe food can act as a vehicle for the transmission of various disease-causing agents, so that bacteria, parasites, viruses, fungal and natural toxins, as well as other chemical contaminants such as pesticides and drug residues. Please confirm from your side. Can you see the screen as I'm changing the different slides?
You can see the screen, Kamlesh.
Okay, thank you. So, with regard to the World Food Safety Day 2026, the global theme was about was from burden to solutions, right? Um, Very important. Statistics doesn't lie, and that's why the emphasis about um, from burden to solutions. And according to the World WHO estimates, it's very serious because out of the total population of 8.3 billion people on Earth, 866 million people, almost 1 in 9 people in the world, fall ill after eating contaminated food, and 1.5 million die every year. As you can see, these statistics are very alarming. And children under 5 years old account for 30% of foodborne death annually. And this is indeed very, very, very alarming. Every year, there are 310 billion US dollars lost because of foodborne diseases. Emerging trends have also shown that climate change has prominently become a critical factor to increase incidence of foodborne and waterborne diseases due to changes in environmental temperature, rainfall, and sea levels. That's why the ISO standards are emphasizing a lot on climate change, whether it's food safety, environmental, health and safety. Every clause 4 needs to address climate change. After consuming a contaminated food, usually the usual symptoms of foodborne diseases include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach cramps, and fever. So they can appear within hours or within days after eating contaminated food. And most cases are mild, but some can cause fatalities as well as death. Don't forget to seek immediate medical attention if you experience any foodborne disease symptoms, please, because it can have serious impact if we don't seek medical attention. Some individuals belonging to the vulnerable groups, especially the elderly, children younger than 5 years, and immunocompromised patients are more likely to get foodborne diseases and are more vulnerable to foodborne infections. Please take note of that. In a global study from 2009 and 2015, the harmful microbes, usually called pathogens, remain the leading causes of foodborne illnesses and foodborne diseases, especially when the food or water is contaminated. In Africa, the microbiological pathogens also remain the leading causes of foodborne illness and foodborne diseases. Foodborne diseases roughly account to 30% of global death in Africa, and it's a serious cause of matter of concern in Africa, especially in Africa. During a review on the microbial foodborne outbreaks dated June 2025, the most frequent microorganisms were Salmonella, Staphylococcus, Vibrio, and Listeria monocytogenes. We have to remember always uh, when we eat ready to eat meat, especially with the case of listeriosis, what happened in 2018, it was a lot of people lost their lives during listeriosis. So please, you should be very cautious when you eat your ready to eat meat, your meat products, and other high risk product. So these common microorganisms are usually Salmonella, Staphylococcus, Vibrio cholerae, and Listeria monocytogenes. In the same study dated June 2025 from the microbial foodborne outbreaks, the most common food causing the foodborne outbreaks included the processed meat, the cereals, the legumes and tuber and vegetables, as well as the seafood. So please take note, especially when you're consuming these type of products, take special precautions, please. In Africa, it is important to take note that 3 out of 5 people were reported to lack basic hygiene services in 2020. So that means there's still room for improvement on the hygiene practices and services in Africa. In Africa, 3 out of 4 people lack safely managed sanitation. This is also very alarming. In 2020, 3 out of 5 people in Africa lacked safely managed drinking water. This is also because water is a carrier of many foodborne pathogens. So proper drinking water is important as well. Unsafe water and sanitation and hygiene practices were reported to be the cause of high mortality rate in some African countries. With more than 50 for every 100,000 people in some African country. As you can see in the graph, most of the African countries seriously affected by by unsafe water and sanitation hygiene practices are mainly from the Central as well as the Eastern Africa. In South Africa, the number of deaths attributed to unsafe water, unsafe sanitation, lack of hygiene, declined from 12,000 in 2015 to 6,500 in 2022. And however, there's still room for improvement. Although there has been decrease and decline in the number of deaths in South Africa due to unsafe water, unsafe sanitation, and lack of hygiene. According to the General Household Survey Report 2024, released by Stats SA, almost 4 out of 5 households in South Africa have access at least to the basic level of drinking water in 2024. However, only 36.7% in the rural population have access to safely managed water. This is also a concern in South Africa. In South Africa, there has been rising impact of foodborne illnesses, food poisoning, especially in the Gauteng province, especially where there is high population and with lots of vulnerable groups, especially the young children and old people. There is high risk of food poisoning if improper food safety hygiene practices or unsafe food. And mainly it's in Gauteng. The good news is that foodborne diseases are preventable. The World Health Organization recommended the 5 keys to safer food. Please make sure you wash your hand before handling food, especially often during food preparation, because cross-contamination is highly possible when handling food with dirty hand or unhygienic condition. Please wash your hand after going to toilet. There was a survey done. It's not part of the presentation. Only 50%, amazingly, wash hand after toilets in South Africa. Keep all the kitchen equipment and surfaces and areas clean at all times. So cleaning surfaces, clean hand, food contact surfaces in hygienic condition is mandatory to ensure proper food safety. Please also ensure to keep your food separate. For example, ensure that your raw meat, poultry, seafood are stored separate from other foods. Otherwise, this can result in high level of cross-contamination with pathogens and food poisoning. Don't forget at home or in restaurants, you eat your food at the correct temperature. At home, don't forget to cook or reheat your food thoroughly so that the internal temperature of your food are above 60 degrees Celsius. And it's important to take note of the danger zone. Between 5 and 60, this is a high level of proliferation of pathogen growth and infection of food. Make sure that prior to serving, ensure that your food is 60 degrees Celsius or above. Do not leave your cooked food or ready to eat food for more than 2 hours at room temperature. And otherwise, this can enhance the growth of microorganisms. And also make sure that you keep your food refrigerated at all times below 5 degrees Celsius. Always use safe and clean water. And when you wash your vegetables to remove any chemical residue, please use clean water. Do not use any raw material food or ready to eat food beyond expiry date. It's very, very important as well to read your label, your product labels, your food materials. Make sure that you follow your expiry dates. There's a reason for that. And you don't want any contamination by chemical residues, fungal development by yeast mold in your food. This presentation was very short and sweet. As we reach the end of this World Food Safety Seminar webinar, may we all work together to promote better food practices and to prevent foodborne illnesses. Because remember always, food safety is always everyone's responsibility. Yes, Paula.
Kamlesh, sorry. What is the difference between best before and expiry date?
So best before is the quality is still good. You can consume it. But expiry date is a final date you can consume it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question? Yes, please, Sophie.
Hi, Kamlesh. Say, for example, someone would want to start a NGO or an NPO. I noticed that there was a segment that spoke about temperature. And let's say we want to share, or let's say cook food for those that are obviously in need. How can we ensure that the temperature stays in the safe zone?
Well, the temperature control as part of the subcontracted service who provide this food, they have to keep temperature records. They have to make sure that the time range doesn't exceed 2 hours. This is
Right.
our own practices that they have to do from their side.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know if I answered, but temperature control, the catering service must do. Yes, Francois? Hi, Francois.
Sorry, I was on mute there. Thank you, Kamlesh, for the presentation. I've got a question. Obviously, without naming or shaming manufacturers, what are the foods that you believe is a no-go, or rather than buying it, you should consider something alternative too? Does anything
So,
come up? Like, I mean, if I look at garage pies, for instance, is it you know, rather make your own sandwich than buy a garage pie? Or what are those foodstuffs that we generally not, take cognizance of, or it's just a impulsive sort of, buy that we should reconsider?
so basically, in the food safety umbrella, we call it the high risk foods. Okay, those high risk foods, or those foods that might encourage microbial growth and proliferation. For example, the high protein food, the high water content food. Um, so those food that doesn't have preservatives that prolongs the shelf life. For example, this polonies and the processed meat and ready to eat, like sushi, for example, it's always safer um, not to consume it in restaurants because there's high risk of food poisoning. And like you're talking about pies, but pie, they have some preservatives in the meat. It has a specific shelf life, expired products. Um, so basically, this seafood, this meat, ready to eat salads, and lots of food poisoning cases have been reported worldwide with Listeria, E. coli from fresh cut salads. So it's better you prepare it at your own place, at your own home, rather than buying because you don't know behind the scenario what happened. Yeah, I think if I answered your question,
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
did. Thank you. I think that I've also heard that if you prepare rice, and you tend to sort of take the leftover rice and put that in the fridge, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next day you would sort of, apparently it's not the best thing to do.
The best thing for storage of food in the fridge to keep it maximum 3 days. And research have found out that 3 days maximum is most recommended. And also, we have the process once you cook the food, don't keep it out more than 2 hours. And when towing of your product as well in your fridge, be careful, and cross contamination can happen. Um, Make sure you store your products. Like I said in the presentation, you separate your food. Yeah,
Okay.
basically it.
No, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions, please? I'll be sending so the presentation and some pamphlets after this webinar. And I hope that it helps you on the long term because the incidences of foodborne diseases, product recalls are increasing on the market. Although we have certification in place, although we have awareness in place. Um, yeah. Yes, Mandy?
Good morning, everyone. Looking at your presentation, Kamlesh, very impressive. We are planning training for Cape Town. Sophie and Gordon, myself, Musa know about that. If we can slot you in as a speaker during that time, can we maybe uh, ask you to be present? We do it a half day presentation after the training, especially because we concentrate on hygiene as well as on the FSCC version 7. So can I propose this as maybe the fourth day that we can invite all of them to come to your presentation and maybe have a nice get together and meet and greet?
Of course, definitely. We are here to support each other
Okay.
anytime.
Yeah, so I'll speak to Sophie and ask them.
Yeah, we just that we can see my schedule and we can slot in the presentation to the client.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely keep you in because we have to give you feedback on what we are planning. So yes, I will definitely be in touch with you.
Any more questions, please?
Yes, do we get a certificate?
The certificate is thank you for your kind attention. And I hope Martha can prepare a certificate also. Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Kamlesh, thank you
Thank you,
so
Kamlesh.
much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it, and
All right.
Thanks, Kamlesh.
Kamlesh.
Thank you.
take care.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
DQS, leveraging quality, driving success.